What's going on, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight with more lake breakdowns. That's right, we are going to continue our lake breakdown series for Oak Creek Reservoir. We covered almost half the lake last time in the last video. Hopefully, I can get it done this video. We'll see if we have enough time. If not, we'll break it into two videos. Then we'll jump over. We'll talk about the offshore stuff, but lots of good stuff on this lake. And again, if you remember from the first video, this one's number 11 in the top bass lakes to fish in the United States, according to Bassmasters. You got to check this one out. Let's go. Let's go ahead and jump into Oak Creek Reservoir. We've already done one video on this, so if you missed the first one, just go out to the Lake Breakdown playlist and you'll be able to see that video and catch up with us. I'm going to go ahead and double click here and we're going to zoom in real quick, just in case you did miss the first one, so you don't have to go all the way back right now. Just want to show you how we have this thing broke down really quick. We have the channels that are out here, so those are going to be all your green tracks. These are going to line you up perfectly with the channels so that way you can fish the channels the way they're meant to be fished. Fishing the bins, stuff like that, fishing the breaks, the ledges, all that good stuff. That is really going to help you position your boat well in those locations. We also have tons of different cover, from flats to bridges to foundations to rocks. Actually, we have the rocks down here, so I shouldn't have mentioned that, but we've got rocks right there as well. And then lots of different docks as well. So a couple different docks, actually more than a couple, but some docks that you really need to focus on. And really, we're picking these out based on the location of the dock. So there's something special about those docks that we feel that you really need to pay attention to. Then we also have all these different offshore hotspots. We're going to talk about those in a later video where we go over the Navionics boating app. And then last but not least, we have a bunch of ramps out there. And if you guys have ever heard me talk about boat ramps, you know that I'm a fan and that you can put together one hell of a pattern on boat ramps, really depending on what type of season it is. But definitely done it before. And it's definitely one of those things that I keep in my side pocket when I need it. So let's go ahead and let's jump into this thing. I'm going to pull all this back. I'm going to put everything back on and take off the offshore. I'm going to pull this side back. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dive into this. Now, right now, the image that you see currently says it's for August of 2022. And you can tell, like I talked about in the first video, this lake is down 10 foot. So you're going to have to be super careful when you're out here, because this lake is 50% at pool, which is super, super low. So this is August of 2022, or at least that's what Google's telling me. What I think we're going to do is we're going to roll this back to 2014, 2015 time frame, because that seems to give us the the best images that we can see. And so right here we're on 9 of 2014, and you'll notice that a lot of things changed there. If I go back to 2017, this is what it looks like in 2017. Kind of similar to what it looks like right now, really, to be honest with you. But it gets worse. You can actually go down to 2014 and get it way down here. And now you can really see a lot of different stuff that's through here. So the last time that we talked about this lake, we actually started on the dam and we worked our way up this side. We went all the way up here. We went into this little creek channel. And when we came out, we actually stopped right here at where it says that there's brush. And so why is this brush key to us? And we may have covered it even on the first one, and I may have maybe duplicating this, but this brush sets up perfectly on this point. And not only that, you've got a creek channel that runs through here, and it doesn't just stop there. It has to go through somewhere. And my guess is it probably comes around here and touches or comes close to this point where this timber is under the water, or brush, or whatever you want to call it. So this area right in here, I could see this being a very good area to try to find fish. It's almost like its own little underwater point here. If we look at it on the contour map, we're probably going to be able to tell that, yes, it is an underwater point, and yes, there is something close to it. So definitely take a look right there. Now, also, as you move on down, there's another little point that comes out here. You can see it. So now we're kind of seeing it anyways. We see the two creek channels. If there is a creek channel in there, it's probably meeting this other one right in here. And then it's probably swinging down and then coming back around right in here in this area. So this flat's going to be a really good flat to go take a look at. So you can go look at the flat that's on top of this. You can call it a point two, whatever you want to call it. But it's got the flats on top and it's got the underwater brush as well. So this area in here looks really good. Now, if you get inside of that brush and really zoom in, there's some cooler stuff in here. There's a foundation right here, and there's another foundation that's over here. And any of you guys that have ever fished in these types of lakes, you know those foundations can be money sometimes. So just knowing where they are and being able to go fishing is hopefully going to help you guys out, help you locate some fish there. So let's swing around that point. Next thing that I really noticed down in this area is really just a road bed. I need to change that icon from being a ramp to actual road bed, but you can see there's some sort of a road bed that comes through here. And probably if we looked at it on the contour map, we'll probably notice that that road bed probably goes all the way through and connects down in here somewhere. So we'll just have to look at it on the contour map when we get over to the mobile app and see what we can actually find in that area. Moving on up here, a couple different things to take a look at. One, we've got some rock that's right up here on the edge. Now, right now, I don't know if that's even going to be underwater, but if the lake, ever gets back to full pool, which it eventually will, these things definitely will come into play. You've also got some more rock right in here as well. And in fact, let's go ahead and just move that up and let's see what that looks like for 2022 and see if this stuff's even in play. So this is August of 2022, and according to this, it's still in play in this area. So I don't know. I mean, definitely go look at it, see what you can find. You got some deeper docks here, so that's always good. This dock, you wonder why we're pointing this dock out. It sticks out like a sore thumb. It's the biggest one that's out there, and it's probably right off the edge of some sort of a break or something like that when we went and looked at it on the contour map. So I'm going to draw this back down to 2014 again. You can see how far the lake was down in here. There's some pretty decent stuff that's around a lot of these docks. But if you'll notice, the deepest dock is going to be either this one or that one that we highlighted just a minute ago. So they're definitely there. I'm not sure why those docks are not showing up when I put this to 2022. We can see the docks. So I'll have to work on that and see if I can get those to show up in here. But we'll talk about those. But we can see it anyways, why we would pick those docks. Now going on down through here. Really, just some riprap and stuff. I didn't see anything too special about this other than the fact that you've got a nice little creek channel that's coming through here. So if you can find them out in that creek channel, that could be a pretty decent place to look. You definitely want to put a lot of your focus around where this channel is for sure. If the water's up high enough, you do have some underwater bridges that are here. There's a culvert over there as well. Another bridge that's here with some brush around it, some really thick brush too. If you look in here and I zoom in, you'll notice these are like these massive piles of brush. Now, again, if I pull this up to 2022, it shows that this is still underwater. Now, is it or not? I don't know if it is or not. I've never been to this lake, so I can't really say, but definitely be careful going back here because that water level is super, super low. And then moving back here, some more brush. And then if you get over here off on this flat side, there's actually some foundations. There's a foundation here. I put debris because I wasn't sure if that was a foundation or not, but these are definitely foundations here. So some good stuff that you could fish around, possibly find some fish in that area. So let's keep moving down. We're going to come back out of that creek channel. We're going to move down here. Now, one thing you could check out here, we don't have it marked, but obviously this has probably been cut out or drug out or whatever you want to call it. But something's going on here where this little ditch has been cut out of here. And sometimes you can catch them in these little ditches, especially on the outside edges of them. So maybe the wind will cut through here and start, maybe the wind's blowing from this direction. So it's coming from the north down to the south or like northeast to southwest, I guess you could say. If you can get that type of wind direction going from the northeast, that's going to create a lot of current right through this little ditch area. And they'll set up on these little points and just let that food come to them. So you could check these little inside points right in there and right in there. And that could have some potential to have some fish there. Now, you've also got some rock that's out here around this house. And then you've got these flats that are out here too that could get out and roam on, spawn on, all that good stuff. So definitely take a look at that. And now let's go ahead again and let's move this up to 2022. That house doesn't look like it's in the middle of nowhere anymore. It's actually pretty close to the lake and some pretty good stuff there. So definitely remember that when we're looking at this, we're seeing it drawn way down. I have no idea how far down it was in 2014, but it is significantly down when we're looking at this image. All right, so we're going to keep moving. We've got some more ramps that are over here. Nothing special, but these little isolated ramps, when you get them and there's nothing else in the area for the fish to be attracted to, especially from a rock standpoint, or a hard standpoint. They got a lot of soft cover with the trees and stuff like that, but hard cover with the concrete ramps and the rocks and stuff, there's not a lot of it on this lake. So I could see the ramp pattern actually working here as long as the lake was up high enough for that to be possible. So definitely have some ramps there. You've got some brush that's out here right off the edge of this point. So again, you could fish up in here. This would be a really good area to try to find some fish as well. You clearly have some type of a creek channel that's running through here. And so that's fairly close to the creek channel. So it'd be a pretty good stopping spot for them to hang out at. You've also got some more rock that's down in here. So if you zoom in and you get down here around this ramp, that dock's pretty good. I wonder if we marked that dock. I bet we did. Yep. Those two docks are both going to be good docks as well. So we'll see those docks when we go over to Google or to the Navionics mobile app as well. So we'll cover those. But we've got some good rock that's right here, a good ramp that's here too, some more rock right in here. Again, we got more ramps over in here too. Maybe even some debris right there. I didn't even see that the first time, but could be some debris right in that area. The thing I like about this one, like all the spots that we're looking at right here in front of us, at least for me, is right here, right where I marked the rock at. And you're like, really? Like all this stuff looks a lot more fun. Yeah, but this looks more like a ledge. There's some sort of a drop right in here. And if you get the water up, that ledge is under the water here. And that seems like that's going to be really the way you want to go. Definitely, just take a look, get right there on that ledge. And I bet they're setting up somewhere in there, or they're just right on top of their feet and they just pull right back down. So definitely a good spot to look at. So let's go back to 2014. And let's keep moving on. So we've got those ramps. Of course, I talked to you about the ramps. Lots of underwater brush, right? Here again, we've got this huge flat that comes out here, and you got all that brush right on the outside edge of it. You do have some rock down here. This looks good. This rock in here, really, really good rock. Lots of shadows, gives you good shade, all that good stuff. Definitely would want to fish around that. Would want to fish around this rock in here. We got some more in here. And then just a couple more piles here. And then I really like this spot right here. Basically where that rock starts to there, that's going to be a very good spot to go look at to see if you can find some fish. And then if you get around this point, you've actually got some pretty good rock piles right here on the edge of this point too. This one looks really good. Makes you wonder how far out that actually goes. So let's go. We looked at all that rock formation, right? Just kind of get an image there of what it looked like. Now let's take it back and let's put the water up. And now let's see what it looks like more when the water's a little bit higher. So now you can see all that rock is actually under the water. So all good spots to look at. So I'm going to draw this back to 2014 again. I have a hard time believing that image we're looking at for August of 2022 is actually what it looked like in August 2022. But we're going to roll with it because that's what Google's telling us. Now, one thing I didn't mark here, but you may want to go and check out is see this little point that comes out here? I mean, it's a main lake point, and you can't see anything on it right now. Nothing looks really spectacular about it. It's got a little bit of a brush on it and stuff like that. Maybe right there could be something. Maybe. I don't even know. Wasn't even good enough for us to even mark it. But definitely you want to scan right in here and just take a look. It's a main lake point. You can't count it out. So definitely go take a look at that. Now, I won't spend too much time over here on this side because really it's just a bunch of ramps. And unless you were running that ramp pattern, I don't see you spending too much time over there. And then coming down here, there's actually a hump that's over here. You can kind of see it, and we'll see it on the contour map too when we go over to the contours. But you can see this little hump that's right here. And those can be magical little spots in these giant flats sometimes. It's just getting that one spot of water that's just a little bit higher than everything else. Can definitely be good for you. And then, of course, you got the little nice creek channel in here, too. So focusing in on the bends and really just going there and scanning around and seeing if you can locate them. So let's go ahead and move this up. And before I do, I'm gonna jack this thing back up to 2022 so you can see that hump and what it's going to look like when you get out there. So you get out there, not going to look anything like what we saw. The hump's going to be right there in that area, right where I marked it. And that creek channel looks like it's going to be a pretty good little creek channel to be fishing around. And then let's go over here. Let's just look at this real quick, and then I'm going to pull it back. We've got some docks that are right here. So this dock is going to be good. We're going to see in a minute why that's a good dock. We've also got some rock that's out here by these docks. And then this dock is also going to be a good dock to focus on. Now, obviously, all these docks are going to be good because they're on the point and just the way they set up. Maybe not these. I mean, of course, you can't count out any dock. But I guess if you were in a super big hurry and you said, man, which ones do I fish? I only have an hour to fish. Which ones do I fish? We pretty much marked those for you. But if you've got all day, man, don't skip over all of these. Some of these could be good. Like all of these right in here around this point could be good. We've marked the really good ones for you that are around rock formations or breaks and stuff, but don't count them out. Docks can be a really good thing. So let's draw this back to 2014. Let's see why we think those docks are good. So now we draw it back. Yeah, these don't really have too much going on, but the ones that we did mark definitely do. So right in here, we've got some really good rock, some real good rock here. You got some rock off that point too that we didn't even mark for you, so you can get a little bit further out. A lot more rock in here as well. You can see those docks that we marked as well. Those are showing up here. You got that one there and that one there. So those are good. Let's go ahead and look at that one and just see what in the world was up with that. Oh, and that one's got all that rock and stuff around it, so it's definitely going to be a good one to take a look at. All right, so let's go and keep moving on because we're making some pretty good progress here. We got some more ramps. Now out here, back here in this little pocket, there's not a lot going on in this pocket, obviously, just kind of bleh, but there are these hard spots. So you've got a really good rocky spot right in here. That one looks pretty decent. And then really you've got some back in here too. So if they're up really, really shallow, you might be able to capture them kind of right in that little bitty area. Obviously it's going to depend on the water as well, but moving out here, now this looks really good. Lots of rock right here on this hump. So that's going to be a money hump, probably a community hole. This whole area is probably a community hole, but also right in here is going to be good too. So definitely if you're offshore, or pretty much anytime you're going to want to go out there and just see if you can find some stuff out here. I think that's going to be a really good spot for you to locate some fish. And then as we move further back up here, right off of this point, we've got some really good rock off this point. This looks really awesome. Definitely a good spot to fish. So you could really hit up that hump and that little island out there. You could hit those up, come over here, fish this rock, fish down this whole bank line basically is going to be good for you. Go down the dam. You got a pretty good little pattern you could run just right in here where I think you could catch some pretty good fish. It's pretty good rock there, some rock, got a ramp there as well. Of course, the riprap is always good. And then when you get out here off the riprap, you're going to have to come off the dam a little bit. And you'll notice it because it's going to get a lot shallower right in here. But if you come off right when it gets shallower and follow that out, it appears to be a pretty decent little ledge that's right out here. And these can be money spots because they can sit out here and chill. And then when they're hungry, they just come up here and feed, and then they go back down. Or they can pinch them into these little corners like right here and just have a fiesta feeding on the shad. So this right here is going to be a really good high percentage area for you to be able to find some fish. You've also got the same kind of thing going on here. It's not as noticeable, but you definitely have a little ledge that comes out here with a good hard spot on the side of it. Then you've got a couple more that are right in there, and that really takes us back to what we've already started with. We actually started right there in our first video. So that covers us for everything on the Google Earth side. What I want to do real quick before we end this video is I'm going to draw this back up to 2022 because it's so hard to show you guys all at the same time. And I just want to point out some of these docks. So we talked about all of these docks, but let's go ahead and just point them out. We've got two right there, right off the point. Off that back side of the south side. You got two or three right in here. This one looked good. These two look really good. And we get over here by the dam. I'm going to say all of these, but definitely those three that we marked right there are going to be good. And then coming over here, you got some pretty good docks over here, but definitely focus on this one, this particular dock right here. I'm sure these dock owners just love me. And then also as you move on up, we got a couple more that I want you to focus on. This one for sure. Now, the tricky thing about this one is it moved around. Like when we changed the years, it wasn't there one year, it was there. If that dock is there and it's the only dock on the edge of that point, yeah, for sure, fish it. Without a doubt, you've got to fish that one. Also, if you look out here, this one's the furthest out, right? So you've got this little dike or whatever you want to call it that comes out, and this dock is right off the edge of it. That's going to be the best dock to fish, and all of these are probably going to be too shallow, but that's definitely going to be a good one to fish for sure. Even that one over there, if it's got a little depth, that can be good too. These docks over here off these points are going to be good, but these are the specific ones like right here where we saw that rock. This one's an isolated. Actually, I'm not going too fast here. I forgot to go over those two, but let's move up here and talk about these two. This one had that rock around it, and this one's got basically like a little, I don't know, a levee beside it, and then you've got the deeper dock right here. So both of those look to be pretty good. Again, don't mark off all the docks, but at least you've got a pretty good little idea. You got about 20 something docks you could just go fish here. You've got this dock right here that comes out. This one's totally isolated. Definitely going to be a good dock to fish without a doubt. And then when we talked about this in this video, you notice that this one was the one that was furthest out, that had the little rock ledge that was really close to it. So that can be good too. So again, some really good just docks. If you just want to go fish docks, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 17 different docks that you could focus on. And obviously, if you catch one on one of those anywhere in that area, you want to really hone down and see what else could be around there. Because if they're on that one particular dock, odds are you may be able to pick up a couple more on the docks that are around them. So anyways, guys, I really appreciate you taking the time to go through this breakdown. Please go out, check out our website, simplisticfishing.com. We've got all of these waypoints plus the offshore waypoints. We put them on an SD card, or we can email you the digital files. And basically you take those, you put them into your graph, and you've got them while you're on the water on your graphs right there in front of you. It will change the way you fish. I promise you that. So go check it out, simplisticfishing.com. And until next time, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.